Impressing Minds audience. How are you today? Today I'm going to be doing a book review of Redefining Normal by Justin and Alexis Black. So I interviewed Justin only a few weeks ago, and I wanted to do a complete review of the book. If you want to watch the video of me and Justin talking about his time in foster care and all the things he's learned and all the things he's doing, I'll put a card up here somewhere and you can click on that link. Otherwise, we'll get right into the Redefining Normal by Justin and Alexis Black book review. Now, this is a true story about two kids who live lives of abuse and violence. And so let's say this book is at least PG-14, if not a higher rating. So I wouldn't let my kids read this just because it does detail some of the abuse, and that's kind of heavy stuff. So I probably wouldn't let my teenager even read it. But any adult should read it, especially if you are interested in doing foster care, because it gives you a glimpse of reality into the lives of the children who are entering care and the things that they go through to get put into care, and then how they react and respond to those trying to care for them, so the parental figures. So they're responding in one way, and it gives a good kind of back and forth about their point of view as the foster child. I read the prologue from Alexis and Justin in the interview, and it is just amazing. So they each have sections of the book. So like every other chapter is Justin, every other chapter is Alexis, and they're going on this parallel timeline and just telling about their individual stories, and then their timeline meets, and then they still keep going, Justin and Alexis. So it is really, really well told. I followed along excellently. I loved hearing or reading Justin's part. I loved hearing and reading Alexis's part. It wasn't like, Justin's was good and then I had to bear through Alexis's. It was both so good. And I love they have in each section, they'll have like little snippets inside. And this one's called Words on an Index Card. So it's part one, where they don't know each other. They're children, and they're going back in time to write this. And also it gives statistics. And the first one, I'm going to read the part one, the statistics, because it's overwhelming. And if you're watching this channel, hopefully you're interested in foster care and doing foster care professionally. And I say professionally, I don't mean that you get paid to do it, but you're doing it at a level of excellence that is just higher than the normal average person. So words on an index card, what statistics say? It says 65% of children in foster care experience 7 or more school changes from elementary to high school. Foster youth lose between 4 and 6 months of educational progress with each school change. So if you multiply, I'm just doing this myself, if you multiply 7 times 4 months of education, how many months of that are these children behind? Quite a bit. 20, like 7 times 4, so 7 moves, 4 months at the minimum. So it could be 6 months of progress, wasted. And then another statistic says, only 56% of foster youth graduate high school, while less than 3% of foster youth graduate from college. Wow, those are some heartbreaking statistics. And as a teacher also, that's what I'm trained to do. As a teacher, that makes me concerned about anything that might be going on with foster children and how they progress from year to year, how they're progressing from move to move. that makes me a little uneasy and scared for them. And so only 56% of kids actually graduate high school. Wonder why. Why? Is it the initial trauma in the beginning, or is it because they were put in foster care? It could be a combination, of course, of both. But if they're moving 7 times, they've had 7 different school changes, they probably are educationally so behind that by the time they get to high school, they really may not know what's going on as far as like math and the English, literature, being able to read well in order to keep up with those higher level classes. But it says here, what does God say? At the bottom, it says, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. And that's from Psalm 139:14. So I love those snippets throughout the book that they give. It's like statistics say this, but this is what God says, and we're going to believe this over here. I marked through the book. I wrote and made, dog ears and just throughout the book because it is so quotable, is what I told Justin when I interviewed him. It's very quotable. There's so many things in here. For example, it's called City Kids Travel the Globe. Just when the caterpillar thought the world was over, she became a butterfly. And that is Barbara Haynes Howitt, a quote from her. So they have put in these quotes that are just amazing, and I love it. There are pictures of them in different areas of their life, different stages. Alexis's adoption, and the interesting thing is that she wasn't adopted as a young child or even as a teenager. I think she was in her 20s by the time she got to be adopted. So that's an amazing treat for her, an amazing opportunity for her that she had that relationship with that family. But there were some reasons that she didn't want to get adopted before the time that she did. So you'll have to get the book and figure that out and read through why that is. Why would a child say, no, I can't be adopted quite yet. I want to wait until I'm an adult to be adopted. Why would that happen? Each chapter is really broken down very, very well. There are some quotes, like at the beginning of each chapter, which I just absolutely love. This is Turning Point. What the statistics say, what does God say? And it just contrasts. So you get the full story of both Justin and Alexis becoming adults, basically. So there's overview of the abuse they suffered, the trauma that they had to endure, the ways that they were held back and pushed down, but they persevered anyway. And so you see an amazing story of how God worked in these 2 foster kids' lives, and the healing that comes and the wisdom that comes. It blew me away how much wisdom these kids, basically they're in their 20s now, they're so wise. Like if you talk to them, they're so wise. If you read their information, they're so wise. And I really, really recommend this book. I really recommend it more than anything to an adult reader. Because for one thing, if you have foster kids, you're thinking about letting them read it, it may be quite triggering, and I believe there is a warning in the front or the back of the book. So I would just caution letting someone who has experienced trauma in any way, shape, or form read the book until they've worked through that. Then we find out the love story as well. So there's a love story element to the book. So that's really amazing. Another reason why I like it. Not only are they successful on their own, but they have found the person that God has intended for them, that was working through their own stuff and their own place to get to college, to beat that odd of graduating high school, to beat that odd of that statistic of, college and graduating. And I believe they have their master's degrees. I'm not sure, but it's so amazing the way God took their trauma, and throughout the whole process, He was with them and guided them, got them to the college, got them together. They've created a book and a ministry, and now they have a child. It's just an amazing story that you couldn't even watch on Hallmark. It's like so amazing. I just recommend it so much. If you can't tell, I'm a big fan. I really liked it. It was one of the easiest reads too. So it's not lofty or heavy as far as how to read. It's easy reading. Not too much information that you have to sit and think, now wait a minute, where are they, or what are they doing, whatever. It's easy to read. It's an easy story type of memoir, and it really does give an excellent picture of foster care and what foster kids go through, and it explains also from a foster parent point of view maybe some things that you could do as a foster parent to beat the odds and have your foster kid graduate, get them interested in college, get them interested in the military, or some higher goal that they might have other than graduating high school. So I recommend it, and stay tuned. I'm going to do more videos on reviewing books. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel. Please subscribe. That helps everybody else find out about videos. And also like this video. If you think you're going to read this book, or you'd like to read this book or whatever, give the video a like. Let's show Justin and Alexis some love.